I wanted to give you, for this Exit kit, a layout here before I begin stitching anything. And so you can see how I cut and used the fabrics in the kit to create my floral. Let me bring it up a little bit for you. Uh, you just see I just roughly cut my leaf shapes out of the different black and white fabrics. Then I cut leaf shapes out of the pink fabrics. Now this fabric right here uh, is creating all these petals because I'm using the front and the back. And so I cut all these petals out. There are 6 of them, and 3 are front side up, 3 are the back side up. Okay. Then just I cut some white and the darker pink in just little leaf shapes and added those around. And then I cut 4 petal shapes out of the solid black and put that in the center. And that's when I get everything stacked, stitched, then we'll work on the center piece here, which is I'm going to do with eyelash yarn in the center here. So, and most of this I will be stitching in all shades of grays and not stark black, but steel gray and down. Let me see, I'll give you a sample here. These are the grays that I'm going to be using basically. So there'll be some gray in your kit also. And then I have a couple other embellishments that I think I will add to the kit, so in case you want to use them. But this is my layout. Now it doesn't mean you have to do yours exactly like this, but this will give you some idea if you want to follow my design. Okay. All right, I'll be back with some stitching to show you some sample stitching as I get that done. Okay, we're progressing here with this piece. As you can see, I've started the stitching and I've done several things. Let me tell you a little bit about it and on my thinking and why. The fibery pieces here, I have overcast those with a gray. I went around it first with a gray and then with a very, 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 very pale pink. You could have done white or whatever, but I had that laying on my desk and I thought that'll work perfect with this, so that's what I used. But I went around it twice because they are so easily frayed and I didn't want those fraying out any more than they are. So these have been gone over twice here. This has only got the gray on it, so you can see the difference in these 3 and these 3. The lighter color makes them pop out too, which is a good thing, is a plus. Okay, now sometimes people say, well, you know, leaves are black, you know, whatever. In art, you can make anything you want any way you want. And it's just an open field. You can express it however you want to. You could take your fabrics that are in and you could make all the leaves out of the pinks and the flower out of the blacks and whites. I mean, it really wouldn't matter how you create or design. And I like the different fabrics because it adds more interest to the piece than having all the leaves in one fabric. Okay. Now, let's see, on these pieces here, like I said, this fabric is all the petals are out of this. This is the front side, and it's kind of like a velour, and this is the back side. And to break up the really, you know, Pepto-Bismol pink, I call it, I'm using some lace pieces so that kind of breaks and softens that splash of pink there. The black here already tones that down and lends a richness to it. threw in a little bit of white just to, again, break up, to bring forward the darker colors and to break up the leaves so that they'll show more. Now, in the leaf here, there's only 2 of these fabrics. I just went ahead and stitched some vein looking things there, and I will do the same on the other side, as you can see that. Let me bring you back down again. Okay. Right now I am overcasting these black petals in here. I haven't decided on a center yet, but as I get to that point, you know, I will be back and we will talk about what I'm putting in a center, and also if I'm going to put any stitching in the background. I believe that I won't, simply because any stitching that I do back there will drown these leaves. They'll make them go kind of blended to the background rather than come forward. And I want it to have more of a 3D effect so that it comes forward. So I think I will probably just be outlining the piece to keep the fraying down and not doing any more sewing on it as such. But I'm liking it. It's coming together well. The stitching is making it cohesive, pulling everything together well. The stitching is toning down the pinks and bringing forward the black and whites, and I really like that. And so I love pink and black anyway, and it's just going to be a fabulous wall hanging. When I get through with it, it's going to be really pretty. So I hope you're enjoying this and that you'll try something of your own. Now this is approximately an 8 1/4 by an 8 1/4 square, and so they frame out to 8 inches by 8 inches really well. Okay, and I'm doing it with a quilt batting on the back. All right, till I get a little further along, hang in there. Well, it's finished. What do you think? I love it. I love it. I have got to do the final stitch around the edge. Let me bring you back down so you can see that, to protect the edges. And it's done. Isn't that gorgeous? It's just a beautiful piece. I love it. In the beginning, I wasn't real sure about a couple of the fabric choices, but I am just loving it all. They're playing together really well. And I decided not to sew down the edges of these pink petals, which gives them a little bit of a 3D raised effect, which I also like that. If it's behind the glass, it won't make any difference at all, but if it was framed without glass, then it would have a little bit of that 3D effect to it. And just simply the center with 3 different yarns. The hot pink here, the black and white, and the baby pink inside gives a pretty center to that, and I'm loving it. So this is, of course, a kit that is going into my Etsy shop, but I also wanted to put it on YouTube here for not only a stitching guide for those who buy the kit, but for all my viewers here on my channel, because a lot of times you don't necessarily want to buy anything, but you can get a inspiration. You might have another color combination that you'd like to put into a similar pattern, and so I want to make sure that I make my different stitching guides that I make for my Etsy shop available here for that purpose, so anyone can take inspiration. And so, as I've said before, my YouTube channel does not have the primary purpose of selling anything. My YouTube link is listed. If anyone wants to check that out, they can, but I'm not here to promote products. But those things that I do make, I think are inspirational for anyone, I want to make available here. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. But I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's an 8-inch format, and I simply cut the pieces, just freehand cut them. I did not have a pattern. It's just petals and shapes of different sizes, and just layered them up. And that's all there is to it, I promise. Okay. All right. You know how it goes. Let's all stay very scrap happy.